Hi there, grade 10s. So, you guys know me. I'm Mr. Forrester, college counsellor. And I last saw you in a presentation where we were starting to explore Moresby. Hopefully, you have been using and utilising Moresby and looking at all of the different careers that are available for you and all those different options. So now the idea is to start thinking about what you've learnt about careers and how can you get there through searching what courses and what universities might be of interest for you to help get you to those careers. So that's what we're looking at today. We're just giving you a quick introduction on some quick tools that you can find, quick tools and resources that we hope that you find useful when you're digging further into some university research.
Hello, grade 10s. My name is Charushila. I'm also one of the college counselors. So, the purpose of today's session is really how do you get to know if a university is right for you? It's not just about knowing a name of a university or how prestigious it is or what's the rank of this university. It's really about finding the right college fit. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today in today's presentation. So, the first thing about college research is about understanding the dream school. Is there a dream school? Well, you might put some schools or some universities in your dream bucket, and that's all right because you need to be actively interested in that school. You need to figure out whether this school is really the right fit for me. So, getting critically involved in college research is an interesting idea. So, be sure to ask a lot more questions around this school. What are their clubs and societies? What are some of the courses that they offer? Do they give you the flexibility to move from one course to the other? It must make you think about what you want and help build your own criteria around the whole thing. It's also important to identify why a university is or is not right for you, because what might be right for a relative or a cousin or someone who went to that school many years ago may not be the right reason you want to be part of that university.
So on this slide, you can see that there are a number of categories that you could divide up your universities that you're researching into one of these categories. So we have reach, match or target, and definite choice. Sometimes people refer to that as safety. The principle remains the same. You want the majority of the universities that end up on your shortlist being mainly in the match or the target section. So what does that mean? That means that the majority of the university's entry requirements or average admission rates are generally in line with your academic profile. The type of grade which that you are already achieving are in line with those that usually are successful in admissions to those universities or colleges. Okay, so most go into the match. Yes, we do want to give you the option to have reach. We want you to have universities that are slightly more competitive and less easy to attain. We call that the reach, something for you to be working towards trying to achieve as well. But we certainly don't want you to put everything into the reach category. So, because we do actually want to make sure that you are setting yourself up for success and finding universities that are in line with where you're working so that you are feeling that you are able to, while you're at university, meet the level of the academic requirements as you're going along. We have definite choice as well there. We're having some universities that are easier to get into, which you know that are almost guaranteed for you to get a place in case you don't quite match the academic grades at which you are trying to achieve or that you were predicted at, or even getting any of those reach universities. So we want reach, match, definite. A few reach, most of them in target, and some definite. So this leads us to the task. We're going to ask the advisors to pause this in a minute, but before we do, I'll explain what the task is before your advisor hits pause. Now, students, I would like you to read through these different tiles. There are 9 tiles here, Okay, I want you to reflect upon each of these 9 separate tiles, read through, and then decide which are important to you personally, which are less important to you personally. All right. Once you have done that, I want you to write down the most important priority for you, and then write down the next 2 important priorities. So you're choosing 3 priorities, one that's the most important, and 2 that are also very important to you. Then I want you to try to categorize the ones that are the next most important, following down until the least. So your least most important priority needs to be identified, your most important needs to be identified, and the next 2 most important after your first to be identified at least. So press pause, you have 4 minutes. Now that you're back, just a few words to talk about priorities further. Just something for you to consider. There are more things for you to consider for what your priorities are from a particular institution beyond the ones that you've just reflected upon in that category of 9 that you were just thinking about. So here we have things such as course or career development or the student body. Is it international? Is it local? What are the politics like in a particular institution? You might find that that is something more relevant to some US universities. Wider life. What is it like to actually live and engage in the university life of a particular school? What's the accommodation like? What are the finances like? Is it actually affordable for my family to achieve or not? Student satisfaction. These are just some things that you can be thinking about. You're all individuals. You are all hopefully be looking for different things rather than all applying to the same places. So as a result of you all being individuals and being different, you're all going to have different priorities. We want to incorporate that into our program, our decision making and our discussions with you. So it's really important that you do spend some time thinking about these items here. Some of your priorities may not actually be on this screen, and that's absolutely fine. It's up to you to kind of identify any of these that are on the screen or any other priorities that are not on this screen and to discuss them with your college counsellor. So then your college counsellor will be able to then identify some universities that will fit you specifically better. So now we're just going to have a quick look at 2 examples, 2 case studies, and ways that you can go about researching and some resources that you can use for it. This is just a quick whistle-stop tour of some of the first things that you could be doing.
So here's our first case study. Let's look at Manchester Metropolitan University. So let's assume I'm a student who's interested in business, management, or marketing, and I want to explore this university. You could be exploring this university on a certain platform, or you could be exploring the university through their website. So the first thing you'd want to do is when you go on their website, you go to the Manchester Metropolitan website and search for undergraduate courses. So make sure you mention the filter as undergraduate and mention the year that you would be joining in. In your case, it would be 2027 or 2025 for right now, in case you're researching. You will also mention the kind of course you're interested in. It could be business, it could be chemistry, it could be biology, whichever. So in this case, for me, biology shows up 69 search results. And that's when I would see what program really interests me. There could be a program in business technology, business analytics, business management, international business. And let's say I pick up a program that truly interests me and I go with sports business management. So I click sports business management and that's where I am at. And I look at how the course plays out over the next 3 years or 4 years. Sometimes you will find these universities have foundation programs. They sometimes have placement opportunities in between. They also have study abroad experiences that you can actually look at. So it's important that you dig deeper. Like I mentioned earlier on, it's important for you to review the modules that are going to be presented in front of you. Some of these modules may be like a match between two very important programs that you're interested in, let's say computer science and business. So you could be doing something closer to sports and analytics, or you could do something like sports finance. So look at the programs that interest you, make a note of that somewhere. Also, it's a good idea to review their faculty. Look at the entry criteria that they're looking at. There are programs that will give you very clear entry instructions that they're looking at a certain level of grades, whether it's an overall grade in IB or the number of APs that they're expecting from you, or a basic high school diploma. How does that play out in your entry requirements? It's just important that you figure out how this program can be made possible in your college journey or your college experience. So sometimes when you're selecting a program or a course, there could be similar sounding programs. There could be a program in marketing, or there could be a program in business and psychology. And it's very important that you look at the modules and see how they're going about that program. And just because they're similar sounding, they may not exactly be the same program. So once again, it requires you to dig deeper. Also, once you have understood what kind of program or course you might be interested in, it becomes really important for you to figure out whether you would really want to study there. And that's when these open days come in handy. And you may want to look at, there are multiple universities that come up with open days. Usually they plan these days in and around weekends, perhaps, or on some days when the school is off. So it's important for you to start planning those right away. Check out those websites and start planning your open days. You could also go to the news section and look at what kind of research is going on at the university. Does it pertain to your interests and to the course that you're planning to study? There's also a live chat section, did you know, where you can actually speak with students who've been at the university. And most of these universities today have a live chat section. They also have, I believe, some kind of a robot that sometimes also answers your questions. But you can get to speak to real people as well. Well, if you're getting super interested in the school, and that's the time for you to dig even more, and you could go and check out their Instagram pages or just follow them at social media, wherever, and try and figure out if their values really match with yours. For example, if you're really concerned about the environment, you're really concerned about how AI is going to play out in the future, you may want to read a little more about how the university is reacting to those things. It's also a good idea to look at leadership at the university, how the leadership is shaping the university in the future. So go ahead, have fun, enjoy this research process. It's also great to manifest and imagine yourself at these universities, because that's how you're going to make it happen. All the best.
So here is our next case study. Now I just want to take us away from the UK. Let's look at another place. So LMU is in the US. It's in Los Angeles, LA. And I just want us to consider what it would look like if you were to go beyond the website and to find some other places to find information on the particular university. Okay, so in this case study, I'm interested in business, management, marketing, and I may have just stumbled across LMU here. Now, first thing that I could possibly do is do a quick Google search, Wikipedia, look on maps, Google Maps as well, to see kind of location, as well as to find its general overview of what it's like as a university in Wikipedia, for example. So what I've done is I found out that it's Jesuit. So there are a lot of places in the US, colleges that have got religious affiliates. This particular one is Jesuit. Some places in the US have more emphasis on the religious affiliation, and some do not. Some will have a different viewpoint and how they incorporate those religious views. Some are just literally historical. So what does Jesuit mean? So then I would be considering, what does Jesuit? Well, the education principles behind a place that is a Jesuit institution emphasizes the view that each person is unique. It doesn't sound too bad to me. Cares for the whole person. So therefore it must be quite a supportive and community-focused environment. Another principle, underlying principle, is that it has a respect for diversity. So some of these philosophies and viewpoints may actually not be a million miles away from what you are actually used to here at ACS as well, right? So that's the first thing I would do. I would then want to delve in to see kind of how much emphasis is placed with this philosophy in the particular university. Then going to the location, we can see on the Google Maps that it's really close to LAX, the airport in Los Angeles. We could then decide whether or not that's something that is positive or negative for us. Might be good for us and convenient to come backwards and forwards back home, although saying that it is on the West Coast, so therefore you probably would need 2 flights or a very long flight, okay, going across the whole of the States there, if you were based in the UK, whereas if you were based in the US, your family, rebase themselves in the US, then maybe it's a little bit closer to family or friends, okay? So consider whether that's positive or negative. You can also see that it is near the beach. Could be positive. So collegedata.com. So then I'm going to delve into this as an example and find a few statistics that are available about the particular university. Some of this you'll find on the website. Some additional information you might find in this particular website beyond the university's website. Okay, so here we can find a little bit more of the demographics of the type of students that end up going there, how competitive it could become, so what grades are likely to make me competitive at the particular university, some data on the international student body, what's making up the population of the students, for example. Okay. Moving on, there are other places or other websites and resources to access. You have niche.com on the top right. That's one of my particular favorite ones. Okay, lots of other further statistics that you may find, as well as reviews and comments. Campusreal.org is a very good website on universities where you get the student eye view of what it is like to study there. So there are a range of different interviews of students that are currently there. It's one thing to hear from representatives what a university is particularly like, but it's another thing to find out what it's like from the student eye view. Okay, you have campus tours from the students, interviews, reviews, lots of great stuff. You'll also find some of that also on the official YouTube video there as well. So a lot of universities have official YouTube channels that you could investigate as well. All of this helps build a better and more in-depth picture of a particular university. You can then move on to the socials of the particular university. Choose whatever social it is that you kind of engage in quite regularly. So here you can see a range of different snapshots of some of the socials that you would find information on to gain a little better understanding of what the community at LMU is like. So that's about it. Now it's over to you to find out what you can find out. There is a task coming up. Please do not stop the video yet. Just a quick reminder that when you are looking at a university, do consider what those priorities are, what is important to you before you, as you go about your research. All right, so here is the task. On screen, you have a range of different universities from the UK, US, Canada, and Europe. You are to pick 2 from different countries or regions, please. Spend 10 minutes, that's 10 minutes, to find out information in the same way myself picked out the information in the case studies. So this means using Google, Maps, university websites, further platforms like niche.com or collegedata.com. See what you can find out. Then, after the 10 minutes, please share with somebody next to you the information that you found out for 1 or 2 of those universities. Okay? So, research and then share. So, if the advisor could now please pause or finish the video.